let's get to the AFC South. Speaking of receivers, Christian Kirk was traded from the Jaguars to the Texans, an in division trade. That was interesting. Um, they also have signed or traded for CJ Gardner Johnson from the Eagles in exchange for Kenyon Green, who is their offensive guard, and a 2026 fifth round pick as well. They re-signed a couple guys on their team. So, I mean, that Houston has run that division for the past couple of years. But there may be a new sheriff in town. There may be a new sheriff in town as the Indianapolis Colts have reached a 1-year agreement, $14 million, 13 and a quarter, fully guaranteed, and a $6 million signing bonus, and a 7 and a quarter 2025 base salary with a total value of $17.7 million. Welcome to the Indianapolis Colts, Mr. Daniel Jones. Yeah.
Big Daniel, not the little one.
Yeah, Daniel Jones. You're
Yeah.
Indianapolis Colt, buddy. You're
Big
a Colt.
$14 million.
You're a Colt. I don't think you're paying 14 and almost up to a max value of 17 and a half $1 million for them to get back up. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Now I can't
coming in at the start.
Coming at the start. They said now the word on the street is that he's challenging Anthony Richardson for the starting quarterback role.
Open competition.
Open comp for a quarterback one in Indy right now. Now we also can't let this slide. They also signed Travarius Ward to a 3-year deal.
Stop it.
Being guaranteed. And also signed safety Mr. Cameron Bynum to a 4-year, $60 million contract as well. So as the resident Indianapolis Colts fan on this podcast, Mr. Collin, talk to me, brother. How you feeling with your brand new quarterback and your 2 new defensive weapons on the Indianapolis Colts team? I can't keep it together no more.
Listen, man,
gosh.
I love Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. But I'm gonna say you for this next 5 minutes, I'm hating, and this is pure hate because you have Joey Bosa, Dre Greenlaw. I'm trying to think of some other guys. DeAndre Hopkins, Stephon Diggs, and our notable pickup this offseason is Daniel freaking Jones. Daniel Jones, who the Giants let go. Daniel Jones, who the Vikings didn't even want to keep around. That's who we wanted to come in and compete for the starting jobs with Anthony Richardson. And you know what? I was going to use this moment to get on Daniel Jones, but shout out Daniel Jones. It ain't your problem. I'm looking at Chris Ballard because, Chris, we've let you slide for too long. You have made no moves that have moved the needle. We'll never be on the headline for making breaking news. We've always played it conservative. And Daniel Jones, his personality and who he is as a quarterback represents who we are as an organization. Ever since Peyton Manning, ever since Andrew Luck, we've been coasting by trying to put Band-Aids on an issue that we need surgery on. And it starts today. Like, we have solidified a top 5 pick easily in the draft next year. I can go ahead and count it. I have no faith in this season. When I close my eyes and think about Daniel Jones as a quarterback, I don't see a Super Bowl. I don't even see the playoffs. Honestly, I don't even see top 2 in the division. And it's sad because this is our chance to get the division. But when I look at the Colts moves this offseason, there have been no notable names that have made me say, wow, we have made some moves. And that's just been season after season. So I'm glad. I hope the U-Haul truck is getting ready to go to Ballard's door, Daniel's door, and even Steichen's door if he doesn't get it done this year. Because we need to revamp, completely just restore our organization, make some new moves, give some fresh air to some GMs, coaches, quarterbacks. And also to Anthony, you suck. It's time. Because the fact that they brought in Daniel Jones to compete with you and a majority of Colts Nation believes that Daniel might win the starting job says a lot for you as a quarterback. Like, we get so caught up in the highlights. We get so caught up in the big plays. But he can't make simple checkdowns. I've watched the games, and I have been unimpressed. And I think if Anthony this is a signal for you that like your time might be done, not just with the Colts, but in the league. Because if you don't beat out Daniel Jones, I don't see starting quarterback in your repertoire for the rest of your career. So I feel like as the Colts, I was proud that we at least tried to take a swing, but we struck out getting Anthony Richardson. So now we're gonna have to try to make up for it. And in this draft, I know Chris Ballard is the king of drafting back and getting a cornerback from DePaul, getting a cornerback from no name university, and him being a decent cornerback. It's time for us to make moves, man. I would rather us strike out making a big move than us being mediocre. Like either be terrible or be good. But being in purgatory for my whole career, outside of the Andrew Luck years, it just hasn't been fun. Being a fan ain't even fun anymore. And I'm just looking at these moves, and it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? How are we representing the state of Indiana? Being this sorry, that is just terrible. And I feel like for Daniel Jones, I don't even got nothing to say. You got your money. You robbed us, like you did with the Giants, like you did with the Vikings. Continue to rob us, because at the end of the day, we have poor management and poor leadership. I'm done, man. I'm done.
Hey, John, who's the wide receiver that they re-signed?
Dang.
Ashton Dillon.
Oh, I was like, I don't even know his name.
Nobody does. That's the point.
I think Tre'Davious Ward and Cam Bynum, I thought those were good pickups for y'all, for real. Like, in all honesty, like I think they can help the defense, bro. Like Cam Bynum is tough at safety.
But that's the thing, bro. Like if you think about 3 years ago, we were saying the same thing. It was like, man, we got a great roster. We just a quarterback away. Then we go and get the Matt Ryan and Phillip Rivers, and it's just like been mediocre. Like it's okay to make these decent moves, but if you don't have a quarterback to like complement that, or even any true number one receivers, it doesn't matter. We'll be in games, but we won't have enough weapons to get over the hump. That's what I'm concerned about. It's been about a decade now.
So Dan Jones
What
at the end.
what would be a successful season for y'all?
And the number one pick goes to Arch Manning. So that's successful, because I mean at the end of the day, bro, I would rather us be terrible than us like even sneak into the playoffs and not have a future. Like I don't know if Daniel Jones would ever be the quarterback to get us over the hump. Like Daniel Jones had one good year with the Giants, and then guess what the Giants did? Mess around and gave him that $40 million. And I don't want us to fall into that same purgatory where it's like Daniel Jones on a contract year looks great, and then we give him that big contract, and then the next year he comes back and we're 3-15. So, nah, we just need to go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. We're not a good organization and don't have a quarterback. And I think that's an okay place to be in, because Washington said that 2 years ago, and now look at them. You go and find you a quarterback, you can make some big moves. So let's just rip the Band-Aid off, fellas.
Do y'all think that y'all have the same kind of trajectory as Washington, though?
No, I'm just saying it really just changed once you found your quarterback. You found your guy in the draft, you can play with house money.
I feel like you gotta have some pieces already in place. Like you can't just go get the quarterback and just say, hey, like, here's trash, go make it better. Huh?
We don't got much trash on our. We still got JT. I mean, Pittman's a good number 2 if we can find another receiver, and we got DeForest Buckner. Like we got pieces on the defensive end too. So I just think like with Washington, we were talking about Washington roster like it was terrible when they had Sam Howell. Like they had good pieces. It was the same situation as the Colts. They just need to find a quarterback, and then they started making moves. But obviously, we don't got no Terry McLaurin, but like we can find that in draft or free agency next year.